There. 2, 1, go. I hope I'm live. Tonight, Mike won't be with us, but I look forward to seeing him next week on Alive Again. Um, he is an amazing man, and I enjoy my co-host. He's the best. He knows what he's doing today. I watched a couple of our back shows, and they were absolutely amazing. I really absolutely couldn't believe how good he is at what he does. And his bright smile, his ability to bring life and joy is amazing. So I can hardly wait to see Mike next week. In the meantime, I wanted to talk today about a couple life after death experiences, and I wanted to talk about hope and faith. We all have our mind. Even 10 years from now, this historically will be a time that we will never forget with this war in the Middle East, the war that's still going on in the Ukraine. Putin wants to finish this war before winter. Winter is harsh, very harsh in the Ukraine. And he absolutely gave a very bold threat that if we get ourselves involved with Ukraine in that war, he will use nuclear weapons against us. He also made that threat about the involvement in Palestine and the Middle East and Israel. I wanted to discuss this topic about near-death experience. I saw a young lady, and she will be on our show. I'm excited. She was captured, sadly, and hurt. And I'll leave it at that. And I'll let her tell her story. But for her, she had a very mighty and beautiful experience that converted her to Christianity. As she struggled to stay alive and try to walk 4 miles to get help where they dropped her off, Christ held her hand because she had to walk in the darkness so that she wouldn't be seen and recaptured. So her story has been deeply rooted in my mind tonight. We can look at this knowing this is World War III. It will be a short war. I don't think it'll go any longer than 2 years. I'm going to bring something up that I wrote about in my journals, and I have never spoken of it until tonight. This will be the first time I actually talk about it out loud. And it's interesting because my grandfather saw the coming of both World War I and World War II. And both of his were in visions that he had. The first one was in Germany when he was a kid, and he saw, all these soldiers around him, and he thought he was having a dream. So he woke up, and when he woke up, all these soldiers were still surrounding him. And they all had guns and were screaming at him, "Get up, grab your gun." defend Germany. So, and my grandfather tried to get up and he couldn't. And that was the experience that changed his life. I'll never forget when he told me that story and recounted it to me, the tears that flowed from his face, because he knew when it was no longer a dream and the vision before him started to fade, even though he was getting up and getting dressed. He walked to the front door and the sun started to rise. And the next thing they heard in the next few days after was that a man came by on a bicycle and had told them that World War I had begun. A lot of family was lost during that war, extended family on my grandfather's side. It was during World War I that he had to run a lot between his aunt's house and his house to deliver bread. And that's what they held on to for life, because at that time there was a potato famine going on. And this war was the war that they thought was going to end all wars. World War II comes along. Picture. It's so funny. I've watched my daughter run these streams. I've watched other individuals run their podcast. And I honestly feel like there's always a battle to get our show on and for people to be able to hear the stories. In World War II, my grandfather, after learning to hike and walk and become very strong, because he was shorter than most, he decided that he would join with this club, kind of like a club, of friends that hung out together and would do long hikes up mountains. And it was addressed to him by Hitler to go to every mountain, the highest mountains, and declare them for Germany. If he didn't, he would end up having to relive the vision he saw as a boy. And he didn't want that to happen. So he made the decision to go ahead and claim the victory for these mountains. They had to be 7 mountains. The last one was in Tibet. If anyone remembers the movie with Brad Pitt, 7 Years in Tibet, my grandfather was one of those hikers that made it up to the top of that peak. He had a choice to either hike down to, I think it was Tibet, on the Tibet side, or where there were more Asian, or to go out the other way down the mountain, which was much longer, and snow was coming in faster than expected that season. And he had made the decision. He was not the 2 men who made it down to Tibet and ended up staying there until the war was over. He actually was one of the men who made it back to Germany. When Hitler talked to him about awarding him for declaring this mountaintop for Germany, he asked my grandfather whatever he wanted he could have. Women, property. I mean, can you imagine being a young man and being given whatever you want? Hitler had that kind of control at that point. It amazes me. My grandfather said, I want to go to the States. And my aunt, his sister, was living in, I think it was Ohio at the time. And he said, no, you cannot do that, Hans. I can give you everything, but that's the one thing I cannot give you. You cannot go. And my grandfather kept pressuring him and saying, this is what I want. He says, do you realize if you go, I won't see you again? And he was saying that to his friend. And at the same time, he was a little bit frightened that maybe, perhaps, there was a threat there. But my grandfather took that courage and decided to come to the United States. 2 weeks after being with his sister, he was woken up from a dream of hearing gunshots, very loud gunshots that weren't stopping. And he looked out the window, and as he did, he saw German soldiers coming toward him, bloodied, screaming, crawling on the ground toward the house. My grandfather was frightened. He didn't know what to do. He saw explosions and smoke. He turned away and quickly grabbed his clothes, knowing that he had seen bloodied soldiers that were coming toward the house. He put his clothes on, ran outside, and there were no soldiers at all there. There were no dead soldiers laying there. There was no smoke. After that had happened, he said immediately a message came that day that he wasn't going to be able to return for a long time. And it did come to pass that he never did get to see his friend again. I don't know that they were close friends. I don't think so. I'll have to check with my aunt on that one. But I do know that World War II had begun. And he knew the outcome. I looked at him and I wept. I loved my grandpa. We had a very sweet and wonderful relationship. He loved my kids. And he kept himself very still and very quiet and reserved. Of course, being in the United States, that meant he could get killed or get imprisoned. So he kept quiet. He tried to hide and get rid of his German accent. Of course, that didn't work very well. Even with my scars, you could kind of see that German in me. But anyway, I bring this up because now I'm going to share with you a vision that I had where I came home from the hospital and had him right after my near death. And it was when my grandfather was there at the house, and that's what brought it all up. Because I woke up screaming and screaming and crying. And my mother was wonderful. She came to comfort me, but didn't know how. She thought maybe I was having post-traumatic from the airplane crash. But it was because of this vision that I had had. I will tell you, we have entered World War III. Unless there are different choices. It is about to happen. We are going to get to see more and more near-death experiences. This I know. This is why I started this channel, for the reason that I'd been asked by individuals, Pam Atwater and Dr. Kenneth Ring, Melvin Morris, all iconic, wonderful researchers that I worked with when we began the International Association of Near-Death Studies. And this is the only channel where there is going to be opportunity to discuss, and this is what I wanted to discuss, not only near-death experiences, but also to bring hope and faith and understanding that though there are tragic events happening throughout the world right now, as we speak, we are so blessed to know that beyond this life, we will have the opportunity to know that Jesus Christ lives, that God is the Father, that there is hope, that we will go to heaven. Do I believe in the ideology of which Islam, the way that Hezbollah and Hamas believe? No. But I did have a Islamic boyfriend, Sharif, and we became very close. And he and I talked a lot about religion. Of course, it was my hope to convert him to Christianity, and it was his hope to convert me to Islam. So I learned a lot about Islam. Is the Palestinians justified in what they did? And that's a good question, isn't it? Isn't it true that whatever we do in this life, are we justified? It's a good question that we should ask ourselves every single day. But the beautiful joy of this life is knowing that Christ is our mediator. He is the one who is that perfect person who can stand between the things we have done in this life, those things that we're not proud of, that he takes upon his shoulders and is made whole. There's a beautiful story that I pinned up on Facebook. I hope that you watch the video. It's a beautiful story of a man who was in prison. He was a member of Hezbollah, and he grew up as a terrorist. There was no other way. He was Islamic. His father had, if I recall right, had started Hezbollah. And so all of his life, that's all he knew was brutality and death to the Jews and the Christians. And this was something that I want you very aware of. We think that there is a sea between us and those individuals far away, but they are a part of our lives. They are part of our hope and our divinity. Christians and Jews and even Islam. There is parts of it that are so beautiful. And I am certain that they feel that way about us. They feel that we're skewed. But I've always said we can judge a person and whether they're justified by their actions and the results from those actions. I want to say this, that I am so deeply involved every day in this war by what I saw. I saw it's funny, there's this little commercial that I see on YouTube for a game of these little men making noises, and they're all together and they're all grouped together, real tight, and they're going. You can tell they're going to go to war. And so you see these little animated men going after another group of animated men. So what I saw was flags, and I saw flags that came from all parts of the world. And I saw that there was an opportunity to change the trajectory, even though these men were coming at each other with these flags barehanded. There were no guns. It was hand-to-hand combat. And I saw them coming to America after fighting in the Middle East, where blood was being shed. There was so much blood on both sides. There were bombs that were used that I have never in my life seen that took out electricity, the ability to have water or even restore electricity. It wasn't about a generator that generated electricity. It had something to do with wiping out electric energy altogether. I saw that robots were already being made and produced in mass to help fight in this war, so that as we watch the Middle East, yeah. So the clash came, and it looked like a weed that seemed to crawl across the water and crawl across the entire world. It was like an awful weed with thorns that seemed to touch everything it touched, just destroyed. and every soul it touched, it caused profound sorrow. And it reached all the way to America. And there was a war coming from the east and a war coming from the west in America. I knew for an absolute certainty that it would be very soon. And that's been almost 20 years ago. But I have kept that in my mind, and I have kept food storage and have kept things ready ever since I had that vision, to make sure that we were prepared. But we need to be spiritually prepared. And that's what this show is about. It's not religion, it's spirituality. So I invite Muslim, Jewish, Christians, Mormons, Catholics, please, down below, please write to us. Please, we're going to try to make this live so that you can come on and share your stories and share your messages of hope, because it's going to be needed. The electronic age is going to be profound. We are just beginning the electronic future. The reason I saw that it was hand-to-hand combat is because there will be weapons that will be brutal in such a way that will affect our bodies, and weapons that will affect our bodies and what happens around us without a gun ever being raised. And there will be places that will need to be had to I'm hoping they're letting me continue to talk. If anyone has a used laptop, and I hate to ask, and anybody that knows me knows I resist people giving me things. I really do, but we could use your help right now. If you can donate money, that'd be fantastic. Please leave a message below. I'm looking for, or if you have a used laptop that can carry these shows. So I'm assuming I don't know very much about electronics, and I apologize. So if you know more than I do, please, if you have a used laptop that you can send to me, that could be so helpful in the mission and the things that we are prepared to do in the next coming months. You have no idea the wonderful things that are going to be. And I think it's going to be a battle. because of the subject. I wanted to share with you something that happened to me. I have lived through a lot in my life, and I've always been amazed completely that I have continued to live day by day, and I'm still here. This house fire was a doozy. I'm not gonna lie. I was helping people with the Maui fire. I have friends there. Um, the legitimate queen, the heir to the throne for Hawaii, is a dear friend of mine. I hope she's listening. Charlene, hey, yeah, this is one friend. I want to share her story about what happened in Maui, only in the sense of the spiritual experiences that she had with it. She is amazing. Um, Natives in Hawaii had to live on those islands. They had to be very intuitive, very much like the Aborigines. They had to be very spiritually aware of their surroundings. And so they lived by the spirit. The spirit is what brought food. The spirit is what kept them going. That when they couldn't pick up a phone and didn't have phones at that time, that they could reach each other by the spirit. We used to call it, and yet because of computers, we called it the mind to mind contact, or the mind to mind telephone. Do you remember that? When you thought about somebody and they'd call and you'd go, "Oh, I was just thinking about you. I can't believe it." And here you are. Of course, that still happens, but the speed of which computers work and the fact that we have a cyborg, I hope I'm saying that right. If there's anyone out there who knows what a cyborg is, please let me know. I think I know what it is. Oh, I know there's some Trekkies out there that can tell me what it is. But we are a cyborg. We have our little phones that we can't go anywhere without. They give us answers. It helps us to do our business. I met a woman who was one of my clients, who was going through a lot of mourning. She had just lost her husband. In the old telephones, the level of radiation was incredible. And he would have that phone by his ear constantly. Now, they don't know if it's true or not. So I can't justify, or she couldn't have the answer for that. But it turned out that he had a large tumor right where he held the phone, and it had gone into the brain and took him quickly. But I remember her bringing up an experience that I'm going to do a short meditation tonight. I hope you stay with me tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, whenever you get a chance to hear this broadcast, that it will become a healing process, that it'll be a way of which you can learn to communicate. Because I promise that time's coming very soon where you won't have a phone. you won't be able to connect. And like with my grandfather learning how to run, we will have to learn how to physically become stronger and not be so concerned about the skinny jeans kids wear today. I call them kids. My gosh, kids in their 30s look like kids to me. I'm not much older than them, but my goodness, I just I don't know. Is that how you feel when you look at someone a little bit younger than you, or do you feel like you're the same age? It just, to me, it's like they look like kids to me. I was in Hawaii, and I want to share the story with you. Right before the house fire had happened, I was talking to Charlene and trying to find houses and housing for some of her friends that had lost homes, and she had family members that had died. But when I was there with her, I had this great experience. That's when I realized how spiritual the Hawaiian people and how incredibly loving they are. Because as they turn their hearts to love, that's when every door is open. And I'm not talking about the kind of love that is emotional or emotions. I'm talking about the kind of love that brings peace. And so tonight's meditation is going to be about love and peace. I'm a licensed hypnotherapist. And so I want you to know it'll be a meditation. You will not be going into deep hypnosis, but if you would like to have a near death experience or help you to overcome some difficulties, because remember, there will be things that you won't be able to use um, if you have addictions or if you struggle. I've had some amazing, incredible experiences with taking people to that waving area. I can't believe I'm saying this and broadcasting it, because this is something that I've never talked about. And I've always worried with my religion whether or not I would get in trouble, you know, because of the work that I do, taking people out of their body and having them go to the waiting place, the garden. Is that place between this life and the next. And anyone who has had that experience, hey, post it down below. I'd love to hear about it. I was having a lot of problems with congestive heart failure. I'd just overcome having colon cancer. And Can't see me. Oh, now you can. Really? I have a friend who gets really mad when I do that. Because you're so blessed. I hope so. I think so. Tropical island. Yeah, I was at a tropical island. And I had just gotten married and I was on my honeymoon. At my old age, I'd gotten married again. And my husband at the time, and it wasn't Terry that had been married to for 25 years. This was my second marriage. It was a very short one, but at the time I really loved him. And I was struggling. I'd just gotten over colon cancer and having major surgery um, on my colon to get the cancer out. I had broken my neck in 3 places in a bicycle accident. And when that happened, I ended up with congestive heart failure. They told me I wasn't going to live. Of course, I heard that a lot after my near death experience. I have a rare anemia that they said should have took my life a long time ago. And I'm still here. I'm still here. If God's going to have you here, He's going to have you here. And I'm grateful to be here. So I was out in the ocean, and my whole body looked like a big balloon. I had gained, I think it was 75 pounds in only 4 months, and most of it was fluid and water retention from the edema. I remember the pain of carrying so much water on my body was the weight would be so light, and since I was so blown up like a balloon, I'd float like a little raft in the water. So it couldn't be that bad, right? I certainly wasn't going to drown, being that I was so puffed up. And I thought, well, I'm a pretty good swimmer. I'll be okay. So I went out in the water. My ex was way out where the wells were. It was that time of year when the wells were mating. And he wanted to be really close. So he had gotten on one of those, what do they call them, surfboards where you have a paddle. Oh, next time I'm going to try it. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. Just to give that a try would be so awesome. I've always wanted to try a canoe and go out and be close to the wells. So I thought, well, I'll just go out there and go out to my next when um, make it back to shore. I better start getting back. None of the whales came close to me. I kept putting my mask under the water. I took a snorkel and a mask and was swimming. And I was looking for fish, didn't see any fish, didn't see anything. And I thought, well, this is odd. I thought for sure I was shark bait. Certainly, a shark would come along and poof, you know, take one chunk out of this balloon, and I'd be sailing right back to the shore. And so I kept looking around because I had a feeling there was something behind me. Have you ever done that? Have you ever been out in the water and felt like somebody was following you? Or maybe on land, you felt like someone was watching you or following you. Not paranoia. I'm not talking about that kind of feeling. It's a definite feeling, an intuition. And then you realize something's there. That's the feeling I was having when all of a sudden my body froze. I put my feet down on the bottom of the water. I think I, at that point, was probably just below my chest. And I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. And I fell face forward straight into the water. My body started to have shakes out of control. When I thought for sure I was going to die, I kept trying to get my body to turn around since I was paralyzed from the neck down. If I could turn my body around, I knew I was having a stroke. If I could get on my back, at least, and look up, and I would eventually float back in. The wind or my ex-husband, my now ex-husband, would eventually see me and pull me in. As I was laying on my back, I had had another small seizure again, which caused my body to do a quick twist and found myself face down in the water. I couldn't breathe. I just held my breath going, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to run out of breath. I'm not going to make it to shore. What do I do? Suddenly I felt something come underneath me. I went, this is that moment. This is it. I'm shark bait. Oh, no. You picked the wrong dinner. I promise you, I'm not a very good, healthy dinner. Not at that moment, anyway. So suddenly, I felt something huge underneath me, which felt like wood. And yet it was a little bit slimy, and it lifted me up out of the water. And I had small tremors, and I realized underneath me was a very large turtle. Talk about one of those moments when you're near that death moment and God comes and literally plucks you up. This is that moment. That turtle kept looking back at me and kept swimming forward. Anytime that I started to slip off, he would stop and he would wait to make sure that I could hold on or if I was going to be able to stay on his back. So he waited very patiently a couple times. One of the times I did slide off to the side, and I was amazed because He had literally used his fin to push my body back up onto the shell. I thought that he would dump me off, somewhere close to shore. To my utter amazement, that turtle took me all the way to shore. I mean, all the way to the shore. It was the most beautiful thing in the world. And it seemed like he knew exactly what to do. My body slipped off. There was only probably about an inch of water. My head was on the sand. At the harbor looking for food. So I threw the lei in the water and said a prayer of gratitude and thank you for saving my life. So I had a turtle that saved my life. I want to do a meditation with you now to take you to that garden, that place that I was taken so many times with so many patients. I have the wonderful honor of being able to do that. We'll see how this works. I hope it does, because I'm going to be doing it at the end of every program now. I'm going to be doing these meditations that are so powerful. You are the healer. You will be healing with God. It'll be between the two of you. I am going to be the turtle. My job is to get you to shore, to get you where there's peace. If only if it's a moment. I promise that moment is so worth it. So what I want you to do right now, wherever you are, I don't want you to sit in a position that you can fall asleep. But if you do, that's okay. It's pretty common sometimes with beginners. But I promise this, you will remember to remember every word I say. And you will remember to remember that you are aware of what's being said to you, so that you're in control and God is in control and not me. Like I said, I'm just a turtle. So I want you to find a place that's comfortable, that you can sit back and relax. I've got some pillows behind me that helps me with my back, and my bed is so soft. I want you to turn the lights down. If you choose to, you can turn them off. But since we're learning, and if you're beginning as a beginner meditator, you may want to turn the light off. You're going to want to make sure that your clothes are comfortable and warm. The cold will keep you from being able to have a comfortable, reliable experience. The next thing I want you to do is to believe and he jumps on the bed with me and just talks with me every day, but it feels like we're kids, both of us, again. So that's the place I want you to be in, your imagination. And I want you to use every bit of it, color, feel, touch, shape. I want you to hear every word. I want you to fill the whole space like a painting. So from this moment on, I want you to use every bit of that imagination. Close your eyes and begin to feel your inner spirit, your soul. Listen to your listening. Remember that time when you had peace. And I want you to put an object in front of you right now that is a symbol of peace just for you. This is your time. This is the time that you have chosen for peace. It's important that we feel peace. I want you to imagine finding a place where you can take that particular object that is peace with you. Tonight, I want you to go and sit below a tree and I want you to put that peace right on your chest. It's a perfect and beautiful spring day. Imagine this is your place. This place is safe and it's just for you. Nobody has a safer place than you do right now. You are safe. I want you to imagine that you have this big, heavy overall coat on you. And this coat is uncomfortable. It's making it very difficult for you to be able to put that piece on you. When you look down at that coat, it may have buttons, it may have a zipper, but you can see the grime on this coat. You can see words written there as though somebody had taken a marker and written on this overall coat. It says regret. It says depression. Remember all the feelings that make this coat so heavy. Guilt is a big one, and it weighs about 45 pounds. It's a big pin that's clipped to the coat, and it says, "I'm not good enough" on it. You don't want to wear this coat. When you take your first deep breath, I want you to notice how bad that coat smells. You know, the kind of smell that comes from a trash can. So you begin to take the coat off, and you're going to drop the past, disbelief, doubt, fear. And when I say these words, let the memories of dovetail in those words drop to the ground. Unzip the coat or unbutton it. You can feel it moving off your shoulders. Perhaps it has a very heavy hood that's keeping you from being able to see the future or the past, or perhaps the present. So grab hold of the hood and pull it back. And as you do, look around you and imagine how beautiful this little place is that's yours. Let the coat fall off your shoulder. You can feel the sleeves falling off your arms, pain and suffering falling off your chest, sorrow falling off your chest. It's weighed on your chest so heavily with this coat. Let it fall all the way down now. You can feel the coat past your legs till it hits the ground. And when it does, I want you to feel the freedom of stepping out of that coat. When you do, I want you to feel how light your body feels. So light that it feels you like you could absolutely fly. But we have to get rid of this coat. So I want you to pick up that old stinky coat that's filled with even parasites of emotions that have held on to you, have tried to get under your skin, anger, health issues. And I want you to take that coat and I want you to go over to the water. Yes, the water. There's a stream. It's a raging water, but I want you to throw that coat into the water now. That's it. You can hear it splashing. You can feel a little bit of the water splashing back on you. And it has a tingly feeling, almost as though the water is alive, as though it is a part of you. I want you to feel the water. And I want you to imagine right now, remember to remember. You hear my voice. You will hear my voice only to help you get to the shore. But you are in charge right now. I want you to slow the water down. That living water is a part of you. Tell the water, peace, be still. Notice how beautiful the sand is. It's the softest sand you've ever felt. Your toes are bare and you can see your toes sinking in the sand. So soft, so warm. I want you to walk into the water and look how clear it is, how beautiful that water is. It's so warm. It's shallow enough that you can. Have you ever done that? Just floated in the water. Let the water wash around you. Feel it through your fingertips, on your tummy, your knees, your ankles, your muscles are beginning to feel loose and limp. As though they're almost feeling like they are falling deeply asleep. But I want you to get up and walk over to that beautiful tree and feel the grassy moss underneath that tree. It feels like you're laying down in a beautiful, soft, and silky, beautiful bed. Put your hands out to the side in the grass. Underneath you, you can feel the roots of that tree. I want you to imagine that that tree is talking to you. And the tree is telling you to let go. Right now, now. Remember to remember, let go now, now. And as you do, you can feel your entire body. You can see it lifting up off the ground into the branches of that tree. Its soft and warm arms embracing you, holding you. You can now let every bit of that tree and its branches sway you back and forth and forth and back. Now deeper, deeper you go. You begin to see a cloud and a pinpoint of light. That cloud is just for you, and you only, for now. That cloud is warm and soft, yet strong and solid. Now, deep, deep below you, all the tragedies, the troubles, the worries of the world have fallen down below you. In your mind, through your body,
is so still. It's as though somebody, like the sun, is liquid and warm, pouring on the top of your head. That's it. You can almost feel it pouring over the top of you, over your head, your eyes, your face. Your jaw becomes loose and limp. Let go. Loose and limp. Right now. Loose and limp. No matter what sounds happen around you, they will disappear right now. You are safe. If an emergency happens, you'll be able to rise quickly and attend to that emergency. But for now, this is your time. Let it go. For now. In the beautiful mist of that cloud, you can see somebody coming. And though your body is very, very calm and peaceful, do you remember that object? The object of peace. Place it on yourself right now. Feeling peace from the top of your head, over your nose, your lips, your neck, your spine. You can feel it just moving down the back of your skull, your neck healed, your neck healed, loose and limp, every muscle, eyes so tightly shut. It's almost as though glue has shut your eye. For now, it's okay. It's good. Let your eye be completely shut, deeply shut. Let your body rest. Though you're clearly hear my voice, your body is now beginning to relax. You're breathing one deep breath. Letting go. Another deep breath. Oh, it feels so good to let go. Let go. Let your body and your hips rest deeply. Your legs, your knees, and your toes, your ankles deeply rested down. Deeply in your mind, you see two switches. One is a switch, like on a computer. When you touch that switch, you're going to be putting it in the sleep mode. Let your body. I want you to do that now. Click that switch. Now, with your other finger on your mouth, there's another switch. This switch is going to turn on an internal, eternal light. A light that is brighter than the sun. It's okay. You're okay. You've come to the shore. And you're safe. So now click, click, click. Click that spirit soul button. That one will turn your spirit and your soul on. Right now, all the sounds, no matter what they are, will disappear and fade away. Every sound, every feeling in the room will fade. You can't hear them anymore. You notice the switch has turned everything off. You test and you try and you notice how quiet and peaceful it is. Now, remember, stand yourself up. Notice how you're dressed in beautiful white. A kind of white that you've never seen before. Let that pinpoint of light immerse you right now. Let it fall over you like a peaceful, quiet wind, like a breeze, warm and gentle. You notice how the shimmering light is moving through your clothing. You can look at your hand now and see how beautiful it is. Look at yourself right now. You're amazed that with spiritual eyes, you can see all circumference around you in every direction. It is beautiful around you, filled with flowers and trees and people in the distance talking and smiling. Filled with love. Remember that power. It's a power. That was the switch you turned on. Let that love fill you up. You can feel it all over your skin, your eyes, your head. your toes, your entire being. Feel that beautiful love, that power, that euphoric feeling better than anything you've ever experienced that got you to euphoria. As you feel that euphoria, I want you to know that somebody's coming toward you and they're holding an envelope. They too are dressed in white. And you know who this person is. Only you know. Only you know. Perhaps, could it be? Put your arms around this person. You can feel every bit of the solidness of this person and the love that's pouring from them and you. Leaves a tingle on your skin, your spiritual skin. They're so happy to see you. It's been a long time. You are enough. Oh, how you are enough. You are so worthy of this moment. How beautiful it is. It's just you and the person who has an envelope and it has a message written just to you. So you open the envelope, you can feel it as you grab hold of the paper. You can hear the sound of the paper move. It's amazing how loud it sounds. You open up the letter and it has your name on it. And it has a message and you can hear it. You can feel it. You can hear it. You can smell it. It's a beautiful smell. The sweetest, most fresh, and wonderful feeling moving through you like blood through a body, moving through your soul and spirit as you read the words of this message. As you read the message, it gives you the strictest instructions of exactly how to accomplish this just for you. To receive the greatest and the most powerful gift on earth and heaven. This letter that you opened brought back all those gifts. And at the bottom of the letter, it says, your loving Heavenly Mother, your loving Heavenly Father. And you can just feel it's true. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are important. This passage is important. You put the letter close to your heart and let it sink in to your soul. And you notice it melt on your skin. Like when you put lotion on it, it seems to absolutely go deep. The letter goes deep and you now know what you need to do. And you know that you can come back here and walk to this beautiful place with the instructions that are necessary to come here. You can hear my voice, knowing you are safe now, happy, filled with so much happiness and joy. You know it's the truth, what you have just experienced is truth. It is truth and it is real, more real than anything you have ever experienced. Every core of your soul knows it. My voice will lead you now back safely, more protected now. But before we do, remember who you are. Remember to remember. Say your name. Say your name. Perhaps a different name than your own. Perhaps it is your name, your earthly name. We can travel so many places. We will travel back here again. You see a door. You see the beautiful light behind you has now immersed itself in you. It's permanent. It will never go away. My voice, you can still hear. It's important now that at this door, it's a beautiful door. You know this door. Do not forget this door. Remember to remember it. Because each time now that we come back, as you hear my voice, it'll come back so much faster. You'll be able to open this door and be here that quick. Just that fast. Now, notice the door handle. Remember to remember everything you experience. Remember the life you had before this earth life. Perhaps it will come in dreams tonight when you sleep. You'll sleep deeper and heavier than you've slept in a long time. Put your hand on that beautiful doorknob. It's a crystal beautiful doorknob. Notice it looks almost like a diamond. The light shimmering in it. Open the door. You see the tree. As you begin to walk through the door, you can see your body resting there, so protected, watched over by the tree. Over time, when we come back here again, you'll hear my voice and you will be able to see animals perhaps around you to protect you. Maybe it's a relative who has passed to protect your body as you journey through this door. Now, walk over to your body and, like the water, I want you to sit inside your body. That's it. That's all you have to do. Sit inside. You will become one. Each time you do this, it will become easier and easier to do. You will feel heaven each time become stronger and stronger each time you come back here. We will walk in joy. Every breath you feel, or perhaps it could be the water that you turn on a faucet. Every time you hear the water, you will remember this place. So sit and lay in your body now. And you will remember when you hear the water, how easy it is to be done in that body. Oh, isn't it wonderful? You can now feel your skin, your muscles. You know your head. Everything fits so perfectly. On your hand, I want you to open. That's it. And as you do, you begin to unlock everything inside of you, and everything will be perfectly fitted. Your soul, your spirit, your body. You'll begin to rise now with the count of 4, coming back, feeling. Remember to remember my voice. Remember to remember that you will be able to do this faster and faster each time. Even when you lay down to rest, you will be able to rest deeper by simply remembering. You can feel your legs now and your toes. You can feel your deep breath that you just took. You can feel everything on your body that's healed. You can stretch your legs at the count of 3, coming back. 2, like a landing of a rocket on a rocket pad. 1, gently and beautifully, you're able to open your eyes right now. Open your eyes and look at the screen. That's right. Hi, welcome back. 1, alive, alert, awake, healed, completely present, clear, ready now to take on this beautiful earth life. Now, next Sunday, we will be doing another meditation. Please call your friends and family. It's a critical time in this moment of our earth life than ever before to bring family and friends together to experience this meditation. It will become important to you to be able to connect with God, with your Savior. If you get a chance, go over to Facebook and look at that video of the man who was converted from Hezbollah over to Christ. Your life will be changed as you watch the video. But tonight, this meditation will change you. You will feel it every moment you're awake. You'll feel stronger and stronger. This is why it's critical to ask friends and family to do this with you, so the bonds of eternity can be felt in this earth life. I believe that I've been saved over and over again through some of the harshest conditions and experiences for you tonight. I mean it. It's for you tonight that I'm here. I believe I went through the house fire for you tonight. So please come back. I actually have a cousin that's on. We've been the best of friends for years. His name is Mike Woodruff. Hi, Mike. Next time I'm going to bring on a friend who's related to both Mike and I, and he owns Crystal Tones, which is the crystal bowl store, where the sounds and the vibration of the crystal bowls, I don't think there's a sound like it. Sadly, my bowl has just broken, so I have to replace it. But we will see you no matter what with another story, with another opportunity for you, and the people you love to come back to peace. You will be a shining example because people will look at you, and when they see your eyes, they will begin to see the change. So we will see you next week, 8 o'clock. Till then, I love you. Peace be with you. Thank you for letting me share this with you. Peace be still.
See you next week. I'm goofy. Sorry.